Back, I'm talking with former Representative Bob Forey, who is, we are discussing the Idaho Land Board. And for those of you who might just be tuning in, the Land Board became official, well, it's mandated by our Constitution.
Article 9, Section 7. Of
our state Constitution. And it's in charge of millions of acres, but you're also saying that there's also some other properties that are now involved, and the beneficiaries of this are basically public schools and hospitals, certain hospitals. There are how many?
9. There are 9 endowments, yes. Penitentiary and hospitals. I don't remember, can't name them all off.
School of Science at University of Idaho.
That's correct.
University Fund at University of Idaho. Agricultural College Fund, University of Idaho. Charitable institutions, Idaho State University. State Hospital North, Idaho Veterans Home, and the School for the Deaf and Blind. Normal School Fund, Idaho State University, Department of Education, and Lewis Clark State College, and as you said, the Penitentiary Fund.
One of the problems I've had, and just recently came out, is the Idaho State Board of Land Commissioners State Trust Lands Asset Management Plan. They're wanting to trade or exchange some of the endowment property, some of that 3.6 million acres, which I think is down to 2.7 now, that they still have, to trade that and exchange it for commercial property and get into the commercial business world. And I'll read a few of the things that I found in that asset management plan. This is just out last month. They want to change social and political attitudes, values, markets, and products. And I take great offense. Changing social and political attitudes and values.
What does that mean, Bob?
Well, the public, we're giving them a little problem in buying commercial property in the direction they're going, not putting this money into the endowment fund to be invested and distributed to the schools. And they want to get into the real estate business without any holds barred. The Constitution now says that the only way they can get rid of the problem is either by auction or by exchanging it for other property of equal value.
Okay.
They don't want to hold an auction on many of these because it's they want to be able to control it like any other real estate company would. So there's a resolution. It's been floated around for the last year. They may introduce it this year to amend the Constitution to do away with the requirement to hold an auction. And the reason they have an auction is because these are public properties that any of us should have a chance to bid on.
Sure.
But they don't want just anybody bidding, so they won't hold the auction.
Well, I don't understand that. I'm an associate broker in real estate, so I understand the real estate part of this. What I don't understand is there are properties, private properties at times that they end up putting them up for auction.
Well, that's fine.
So that the general public can buy any of it anyway.
Right.
So why don't they want the general public?
Well, I'll explain that in just a minute.
Okay.
One of the other things they say in this, the new philosophy here, operating a profit-oriented business within a government agency. Now,
wow.
that's
sounds like private enterprise to me. Profit-oriented business.
Executing revised procedures designed to foster the agency's ability to be competitive in the real estate market.
Oh my.
Now, this is not a function of government to be competitive. This thing is full of these kind of changing sawmill technology, markets, and products that provide new business opportunities. Now, what has happened over the years until recently, they'd have a timber sale. They would advertise it, and the timber people could come and bid for that timber, so many acres of trees. The highest bidder would get the bid and the chance to mill those trees, cut them down and take them to the sawmill. The land board, it appears from here, then the guy that owns the sawmill will be the guy who worries about sawmill technology. But the Land Board says now they want to change sawmill technology, markets, and products that provide new business opportunities. I would take from that they're looking, why should we not mill these products ourselves and sell them out on the market in competition with the timber company or the private forest landowner and run competition with the government. These are just some of the things that are in that.
Do we have any idea of how much money is actually managed here?
Yes, there are tables, and I think it's several billion in the trust fund, in the permanent endowment fund. There's some money in what they call a reserve fund, out of which money is distributed out to the beneficiaries. There's another fund that we're really trying to get control of, and it's called the Land Bank Fund. This is a slush fund for the Department of Lands. They take some of the endowment money and put it into this Land Bank Fund, and that's what they can save that up for 5 years until they get enough money to go out and make a major purchase. They had that money when they bought the affordable storage, 414 units. They paid $2.7 million for that. Instead of putting it into the reserve fund to be distributed out to the schools, they went over here and bought that affordable storage. Now, right now the law says that they can collect that money and let it build up for 5 years. If they don't spend it at the end of 5 years, it has to go into the permanent endowment fund.
Okay.
And so we have a bill that's started through the process this year that will make them put that money after 1 year. It has to go into the permanent fund, and we're thinking that that would put enough control. They can't save up enough in 1 year to go out and buy a restaurant or one of the plans they have in the old Sherman Perry building. They want to remodel that and put it into a brew pub and restaurant.
Oh my goodness.
And if it's going to take several $100,000 to do that, and then they hope to find somebody to come along and lease it and operate it as a brew pub.
So how does this work? You know, they're going to invest money in the building,
right,
and in all of the improvements. How does this come back to them? It's through the rental?
Through the rental, through the lease program. Now, the risk there is that you spend your money to remodel this building. It may operate who knows how long. There's a lot of competition in that business, the bar business downtown. And if somebody comes in and they last for 3 months and decide it's not making a profit, they leave town, and we're stuck with the building with a brew pub that has no operation. It's high risk. Now, the Supreme Court, in many, many different cases that I've researched, call the endowment fund a sacred trust. And there must be, when you invest money, there must be a guaranteed return. But anybody that's in the business world knows that there are no guarantees in business.
Right.
And so I think they're really walking on thin ice getting into the commercial business.
We'll be right back.